After the success of Air Attack 1, that being on the PS1 and Nintendo 64, a sequel would come out, first on the PS1, and then the PS2, and a few years later on the GameCube. Now, there are some huge differences between this one and the first game, well, besides the story, of course. So, I've actually played this on the PS1 version, which contained a whole bunch of missions, which I'll get to later. The PS2 may have better graphics and it also runs better too, which I will go on to say. Now, it doesn't matter like which system you play it on, there's actually going to be co-op mode. Oh, and I should mention that the GameCube version is known as Armyman Air Attack Elite Missions. Yeah, so that's basically they're back to the air combat stuff, as previously mentioned for Nintendo 64 stuff or the Game Boy. Depending on which system you play it on, it's still a Nintendo brand of stuff. So, the story is that you're going against this Baron who's protected by his invisible force shield. And just like I once said before, imagine just going against someone with an invisible shield. Now, the thing is, this game has plenty of different improvements that you guys can pretty much enjoy. Now, as I previously mentioned, that each pilot has their own different unique power. And in fact, this game also has brand new projectiles for you to shoot, and also some upgrades for your turret. So if you keep grabbing them a few times, the more turrets you have, the more you shoot. So it'll be 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times, and it really doesn't matter. But here's my big takeaway, is that if you guys are going to play this on the PS2 or the GameCube, they actually removed the 2 missions that were based on the PS1 version for some weird reason. Which I always once mentioned before that the PS1 version is just a definitive way to play it. Only because you have those 2 missions that just wasn't even included on the PS2 and GameCube version for some weird reason. But you can also collect plastic in this game, so that way you can unlock like more abilities for yourself. But like I mentioned, there's plenty of ways for you to destroy these enemies. So whether it be like missiles or maybe some sort of specials, or maybe you just keep shooting a whole bunch of times, you'll have fun playing it. Now the controls are pretty much identical to its original counterparts, which I will go on to say that. So if you guys are pretty much familiar to what you're doing, then you'll have a fun time playing this game. And just like I previously mentioned with the first game, the final boss in this game is a pain in the butt. I swear I almost had him at one point and he freaking pulls something on me. But again, that's just me. But like I once said, it's like the PS1 version is just a definitive way to play it, only because you have those 2 missions that can't even be played on the PS2 and GameCube. I don't know why they cut the mission off. I just think it's just dumb that they even did that in the first place. But regardless, I think the game has tougher missions than the one that was previously been played that I had experienced. But regardless of that, you're gonna have a fun time playing as if you were to play the first game, which does retain its core experience from before. So make sure you guys look out for some power-ups and whatnot, as they can pretty much help you get an advantage. So let me know what you guys think about Armyman Air Attack 2. But did you guys play the one on the PS1, or did you guys miss out the 2 missions that were included on the PS1 if you were to play on the PS2 or maybe the GameCube version?